Alright, today I want to show you how I'm going to go to Satori. It is an online timeline digital tech tool that you can use as well. You, of course, are not limited to using this, but this is what I found to work for me. So I'm going to go ahead and I've already logged in, and I created a timeline about my reading. And I did this earlier today so I could then show it to you. I just grabbed some screenshots of some books that were really, really influential as I was a child. And one of them, of course, the very first one that I remember, is Sam I Am by Dr. Seuss. And here's the picture of it. And I remember reading this a lot because my grandmother would read it to me. And she had a sing-songy voice, and of course there was a rhyme scheme. But what I really thought was cool about this book was the concept of green eggs and ham. So my grandmother would actually put green dye in the eggs for breakfast. And I thought, whoa, it's like the book came to life. You know, how do you transfer from reading to actually seeing real eggs that are green? So that's one of the reasons why I think I remember this one fondly. The second one that came to my mind when I was thinking about my very early reading experiences was Madeline. It also has a rhymey scheme to it, sing-songy, but it's about a little girl in Paris. See the Eiffel Tower. So it had a foreign aspect to it, or an exotic aspect to it, I think, for me. Just the concept of all girls walking in straight lines and uniforms. And then additionally, the idea of her appendix. I think she had her appendicitis, or she had appendicitis and had to have her appendix taken out. It was all very serious towards the middle of the book. And you got really worried for Madeline, and then she made it out okay in the end. So if you haven't read this, check it out. It's just something that comforts me because my grandmother would read this a lot. So that's one of the reasons why I remember it. When I got a little bit older, more towards like 8 and 9, she would grab her Nancy Drew mysteries out of her bookshelf. Now these were from the 1930s, so they, even for me in 1980, they seemed extremely old, and they were. But they were mysteries, and I devoured them. They felt a little antiquated, or at least old-timey, but it was still good reading because she always had a problem, and she had to figure out the solution to it. So I enjoyed that setup, and I ended up reading all of them at some point. I moved into high school, and I grabbed this because I read 17, it's a magazine, monthly. If I could, I guess I just really had to have it every time I went to the grocery store. I would beg my mom to get the new volume of 17. And so I put that here because when I think back on high school, I know I read a ton of books for school classes, especially the classics for English class. But what I remember reading the most was gossip and fashion and even the horoscopes. Those are my favorite in the very back of 17. So that's one of the reasons why I included that. So anyways, I haven't gone any further with this because I just wanted to give you an idea of how you can create yours. You're more than welcome to do this through a Google Slide or a Google Doc. I believe you can even do it through Google Drawing. You just need to be in your G Suite for Education and create a doc. I think you actually can probably do that from Google Classroom. So I want you to think about how you're going to do it. And if you use a Google Draw, then you might be able to create pictures of a timeline. I'm not sure. You have some freedom here to do this. When you go into your Google Classroom, whatever period you are, if you're in first, fifth, or not, classwork, it should have it right there for you. So Wednesday, August the 12th, reading timeline. We are in week 1. And you will submit it here, whether as a PDF. If you decide to use Satori, you can just download or export as a PDF and then attach that PDF to your classroom assignment. And you can turn it in that way too, if you choose to use Satori. So good luck, have fun with it, be creative, and I can't wait to read your timelines.